Hey, tourpreneurs, it's Mitch Bach, and just a quick note before we begin today's episode. Tourpreneur is currently sponsored by Google. We're thankful for their support of our community, and we are offering with them a completely free course helping you unlock the power and potential of Google's Things to Do program, which is specifically helping tour operators add their tours to Google in new ways that gives you new exposure and more direct bookings. To learn more, go to tourpreneur.com/Google. And as always, show notes, more resources, links to our newsletter, our business coaching community, and so much more are available on tourpreneur.com. Now to the episode.
Today's episode is brought to you by Checkfront, the booking platform trusted by over 5,000 tour and activity operators around the world. You can start your own free 21-day trial over at checkfront.com.
Welcome to the Tourpreneur podcast. Travel industry veteran Shane Whaley will take you on a journey with fellow tourpreneurs, sharing their tips, ideas, insights, and success stories to inspire you to make your tour business the best it can be. And now, here is your host, Shane Whaley.
And welcome to episode 84 of the Tourpreneur podcast. We have another COVID-19 check-in, and I'm delighted today to bring you our first ever guest from the great country of Iceland. Welcome, Valur. How are you?
I'm good, Shane. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So Valur Sævarsson, correct?
Sævarsson, yeah.
Sævarsson.
We have a couple of extra letters here in Iceland just to make it harder for you foreigners to pronounce.
Yeah, you throw me because, I used to speak pretty good Swedish, having lived in Stockholm. And then I would come to Iceland and people would just laugh when I pronounce Icelandic words with a Swedish accent.
Yeah, I try to tell people that when they're traveling to Iceland that, the Icelandic street names, for example, are quite hard. So, use your Google Maps.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, great. So tell us a little bit about your business. You're a walking tour company in Reykjavik?
Yeah, we do walking tours and experiences in Reykjavik, like food, folklore, beer and booze, and a city walk called Walk with the Viking. And, we do private options of that and custom tours. So if people want to grab a bite or snaps or have some brennivin when they're walking or something, we can just, do everything.
I'm laughing here. I think my liver was wincing with the word brennivin. I've had that. I've been lucky enough. I've been to Iceland almost 20 times because in my past role at booking.com, back in the mid 2000s, I set up a deal with Iceland Express, the low cost airline and booking, and I had to come and contract the hotels. So I was very, very lucky for a few years of my life to spend a great deal of that time in Iceland. So, How are things on the ground there right now in terms of, are you in lockdown? How does that look?
No, we haven't gone for total lockdown here in Iceland. We went down to 20 people gatherings and some of the schools were closed and some workplaces you were working from home and stuff like that. But I think we did it pretty in a sane way. We tried to just make sure that the hospitals were protected, and now slowly I think haven't been a diagnosed case now for at least 4 or 5 days, and we just have a couple of dozens of people diagnosed. So I think we will be pretty soon out of this pandemic.
Mm-hmm. I read this morning on Skift, actually, they had a piece on Iceland, and Mrs. Jakobsdóttir, your prime minister, was saying everything open in June 15th. Is that correct?
Yeah, everything's going to be open, and they are just going to do a check at the airport. I'm not sure how that process will work, but they'll just do a check at the airport, so you don't have to do like a 14-day quarantine if you're okay.
Mm-hmm. And how has this affected, your business, Your Friend in Reykjavik? What's been happening with yourself?
Well, we are simply on ice in Iceland. Soon after after United States closed its borders and the virus hit Iceland, we basically quickly came to a stop here regarding tourism. Fortunately, I didn't have a lot of fixed costs, so I could basically just go on ice and try to do something productive like SEO and website and ideas about new tours and stuff like that. So that's the thing that I've been doing daily, doing one small step closer to being a better company.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, you sound very positive considering the situation we're in. How are you getting yourself into that mindset?
Well, we have a saying here in Iceland that you're probably familiar with, because we have a saying it's called "Þetta reddast." Þetta reddast. Have you heard that one before?
No.
It translates mainly to we will find a way. Everything will work out fine. We in Iceland are so used to hardships and basically coming together and getting through it. So that if you want to say something to an Icelander to make him smile a little bit, then you say "Þetta reddast," and he will know what you mean. And "Þetta reddast." We're basically glass full, half full kind of people, and you just have to roll with the punches and try to stay productive, and eventually we will get through this.
And is that just Valur, or is that the general population of Iceland? Is that certainly in the tourism sector? I mean, what's the mood like?
Of course, it's different from company to company. Some companies are heavily indebted, and they will have a hard time getting through this. Tourism in Iceland, is obviously like everywhere had a huge hit, and we feel like the government have been doing some stuff to help some of us out, but I think it's going to be. I think those that are going to emerge after this are just going to be stronger and better and more adapted to the different climate, the different world that we will live in after COVID. So I stay optimistic.
Getting on an airplane right now, that's really the only way you can get to Iceland. What's that impact going to be like?
Well, the big airliner, Icelandair, is getting through a complicated situation, and probably the government is going to help them out a little bit, and hopefully they will get through it. And there's another Icelandic company that's called Play that's probably going to take off. Similar like a WOW Airlines or Iceland Express.
Yeah,
cheaper option airliner, and I think it will take time. We will not get to 2019 until at least 1-2 years, but traffic. But I think eventually Iceland's. We have it's 104,000 square kilometers and just 360,000 people, so it's like 3 people per square kilometer. So after COVID, when people would like to have some space, Iceland's a perfect option. Middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Quick jump from America, quick jump from Europe. So so I think it will take time. It will be slow. We will just have to be patient.
Well, I'm really excited to come back to Iceland. I mean, I've been saying to my family that how much fun I had there in the mid 2000s, and the family like folklore and legends, and I was I've read some of the sagas, and I'm like let's go to Iceland. And I'm not that far from Boston. I don't know if Icelandair is still flying out of Boston to Keflavik, but that's an option. Yeah,
eventually they will, hopefully, if they will recover after this. But it's a relatively short flight. Some people are traveling here. It takes longer to go from the East Coast to the West Coast than to go to Iceland. So it's all. I think we're a perfect choice for many after this. We have such so many things to see. So you get so much bang for your buck, so to speak. You can see geysers and volcanoes and and
waterfalls,
and Northern
trolls.
Lights and trolls.
Don't forget the troll.
Elves. So I think we have so many good things going for us that it will take time, but we will get there.
You said you were working on SEO and digital marketing. Are you studying courses? How are you getting your information for that?
Yeah, I've been doing courses. We have a brainstorm group, and one of my fellow brainstormers called Rocco from Romantic Amsterdam. He had a SEO like a semi webinar for us what had worked for him, and then I'm studying Neil Patel and I'm just trying to stay as productive as possible. I'm looking at partners for doing blogs. Partners for doing. I want to rewrite my tour descriptions. I even just to have used 50 minutes of my day. I'm learning German better, just so I maybe sometime in the future I can do. I can guide in German.
Ausgezeichnet.
Yes.
Ausgezeichnet. Sehr gut.
Sehr gut.
Ich lerne Deutsch auch. Ich lerne auch Deutsch. There you go.
Yeah. That's good. Ich spreche Dutch, aber nicht so gut.
Prima. Yeah. In terms of walking tours in Reykjavik, how competitive is the market?
It's pretty competitive. We have at least 3-4 companies for each of the tours I do, but I think we bring a little bit of extra that we have been growing steadily since we started 2015, and we have over 500, 600 5-star reviews, and it's constantly growing. Nice. So I'm happy with my guides. We, for example, just one of the productive things that we did just this Wednesday, we now met up like 10 guides. And me, and we did a folklore walk that we have in Icelandic. So we were trying to adapt it to Icelandic, so we could do it for local people. So like for company gatherings or whatever, we could do it in Icelandic. We were just adapting the stories a little bit, making it more, maybe choosing the right stories, and it was so much fun to meet up with the gang and have some fun and tell each other stories and smile a little bit.
And that was with competitors?
No, it was with my guides. I have
your guides. Okay.
With my guides of Your Friend in Reykjavik. I have a 10, 15 freelancers that are working for me, and it was so good to meet up with them and just have a laugh.
Well, I'd love to invite you back on to dig. I've got like a million questions in my head now that I want to ask you, because I live and breathe this stuff. But I'm going to save that for when we bring you on for a deep dive. And you never know how things go. Maybe if we get out of this, maybe I'll be over there in August. I would love that. I'm jonesing to travel. I have never in my adult life had been in a situation where I've had no travel to look forward to, nothing booked. I've always got a trip somewhere that you look forward to. I've never been in this situation in my adulthood.
Yeah, same here. I love to have something booked so I can research, take my time to research a lot and do some fun stuff. And it's really strange for me. But, on the plus side, now we're, instead of going to Tenerife to get some sun this summer when my boys, I have a 4-year-old and 2-year-old back home, we were going to visit Tenerife in Spain. We're gonna travel around Iceland, and hopefully I'm gonna see something that I haven't seen before, and I'll experience some hotels and stuff like that I haven't really checked out and felt on my own skin, so to speak. So I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and your boys will always remember that. I mean, my dad, I didn't go abroad till I was 16. So, living in the UK, my dad was like, you get to see your own country first, boy, before I take you anywhere else. I think he was just being a cheapskate. But, looking back, I have friends of mine, they've been all around the world, but, they haven't been to Scotland or something. I'm like, wow, or the Lake District. So good on you. I think they'll always, and they'll have an appreciation for what their country has to offer.
Yeah.
They're young, but I mean, it's the start of it.
Yeah, I think it's for sure. But I didn't travel until I was 11, and that was just because there was no flights. It was really expensive to fly to and from Iceland.
Yeah.
But I think I love my country. I love to show it and show people, tell people stories about my country. So it will be it will be so much fun to when my boys grow up to be able to tell them so many stories, because I'm a constant learner. I like to learn. So they will be my guinea pigs for some stories.
Absolutely. Before we go, virtual tours. Have you gone on any virtual tours yet? What's your thinking on those?
No, I looked at the Arrival seminar, the webinar with Kelsey Tonner and those guys.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about it because, for example, my folklore walk or tour, I think that would be I think I could adapt that and make a fun online tour from that. But but I'm not. That's not my priority. I have SEO. I have things to get in working order to make sure that I'm happy about that before I will jump on the online wheel or train. So to speak.
You're very sensible, and that's my advice to people. Is they always say, I think about doing a virtual tour. Well, how are your digital foundations? How are your fundamentals? How's your SEO? How's your copy? And if you've done all of that, do it. But my feeling, I'll be completely honest with you, is I think, virtual tours, I'm going on one this afternoon. It's my second one, but I'm doing it more to support that company than I am if I was a member of the public. And, we've all taken a huge hit on revenue. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing online some pretty outrageous claims about how much revenue virtual tours are bringing in. And I'm sorry, I just don't believe it.
Yeah, I have to be honest. The same here. I think it's much harder to get people to join a virtual tour than others. But people have the extra time to do this kind of stuff now. They can build the foundations for later, and maybe this will be an extra income for these companies for years to come. So I think it's a good add-on. It's a good marketing tool. It's a good side thing if you have the extra time and you've done all the extra the other stuff like we're talking about, the website copy and everything. So I think it's a great thing to work on while you have the time. But I think that's not the focus point for most of small tour operators, at least, because I think you can always look at your website. How can you get more direct bookings? How can you get people to basically see you, like being active on social media and just start with the videos, do videos, record some videos. I just bought a Rode Wireless Go to make my audio better for some of the videos that I'm going to do. I'm going to do a series like a Meet Your Guide with my guys they talk about their favorite place in Reykjavik and stuff like that. So that's a perfect
thing. I think that's cool.
Yeah,
I have to say, and maybe the data will prove me wrong down the line, but I think you're better off spending your resources on that. When someone can see the guides, get a good feel for what you're about, and say, yeah, that's the company I want to go with. I think it's smart to do that. It's good use of your time.
And if you're a small operator, your most valuable resource is your time, and I think your time now is better to in a way used or wasted in doing these kinds of things instead of focusing your energy on trying to develop a really good online experience, because I think it's a bit tricky. I think people are always it's always going to be like a diet version of your tour if you don't go all in.
Not just that. If you look at what you're competing at, you got Netflix with thousands of hours of TV and series and documentaries, and then cable channels and Hulu and YouTube. I mean, it's just the competition is unreal out there. I want to finish up by sharing a little bit more about your accountability group you've got going. You were telling me you've got a couple of spots left if there are tour operators out there who want to get together with like-minded tour operators and keep each other accountable and brainstorm. I will add that link to the show notes, which today is at tourpreneur.com/84. What would you say to someone who's listening today and they think, a brainstorming group, should I join that or not? What would your advice be?
Yeah, I would say, what do you have to lose? Because we're just meeting up once a week, and we're meeting up today Mondays on 5 p.m. GMT, and we just talk together about our what we are going through, what our focus is for the next week. Makes us a little bit more accountable, and then you get some ideas from when people are looking at your website with the experience that they have from their business. They can maybe give you pointers that I think it's what do you have to lose?
Yeah, absolutely. So I will add that link onto the group. But what I will say is don't join if you just want to lurk and not contribute. Be active. That's what brainstorm groups need, is for everyone, not to be too embarrassed and shy, but to come out with your problems and set goals together. I think that's how you get the most out of it. This isn't a Facebook group where you're going to lurk, right? You want people who are going to contribute.
Exactly. We want active participants that have something to give. Great.
So, Valur, your website is at...
Yeah, yourfriendinreykjavik.com, and we are active on social media, Instagram, and so please look us up.
Yeah, I'll add all those links again to the show notes, and it just leaves me to say, gangi þér vel.
Ja, verði þér að góðu og takk fyrir mig.
Brilliant. Thanks, Valur. Takk fyrir.
Þetta er best.
Thanks for listening to the Tourpreneur podcast. Be sure to visit tourpreneur.com to join the conversation and access the show notes, including links to the resources mentioned on today's episode. This is Tourpreneur.